Oh, hello there. You're probably a bit confused, overwhelmed, and don't know what's happening. Oh yeah, it's really bright in here, I know. Your eyes need some time to adjust to the way they're working now. It'll get better, I promise. So, what's the last thing you remember? Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I've heard that story before. Sadly, you are not the first and probably not the last one to tell me this. Well, let me try to explain. I'll get right to the point. You've been turned into a vampire. I know. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I'm telling the truth. And I know you can sense that I'm telling the truth, right? Okay, so where did we leave off? All right, you've been turned into a vampire, and that woman you remember, well, she was a vampire too, and apparently she decided to turn you without asking you for permission and helping you through your transition. I'm sorry for that. It is not supposed to happen this way. And, well, you should not be in this situation right now. How are you feeling? Okay. Yeah, that's quite common. It'll go away in a few days. Is there anything else? Yeah. We'll get to that. Just wait a moment. Do you have any cravings? Okay. Yeah, good. We will take care of that too. Anyway, as you can probably guess, I'm a doctor and not just playing dress up. And I'm here to make sure that the transformation process is complete and that everything's okay. Or let's say as okay as it can be in this situation, right? Well, I need to do this, or we need to do this before you can join the clan officially. If that's what you decide to do, of course. You always have a choice. But not joining means you have to leave the area in the next 24 hours and figure all of this out by yourself. And if you ask me, I'd say you should join, trust me. But first, we have to just check a few things, like I said. So, how about we start with your heart? It should have stopped beating a while ago, so let me just gonna get a bit closer. Yeah. Now, could you just take a deep breath in and out? Okay. In and out. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Now just continue breathing normally, please. Okay. Well, it's just perfect. Your lungs sound very good. Exactly the way they should. And let me just, sorry, I'm gonna touch you. Yeah, your face, your skin is still a bit warm, but close to being completely cold. So that's good. Next up is your eyes, and you probably remember this chart being a bit bigger the last time you saw it, but you should be able to read all the letters. So just tell me which letter I'm pointing at, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And down here. See? Very good. Very good. So next, I'm going to be taking this light to just shine into your eyes. Now I know you will absolutely hate this, but it is necessary so I can see how sensitive they really are, okay? So just look at my nose, please. Yeah. Okay. I know. There are so many things you can hear and smell now, aren't there? It's very overwhelming, I know. I still remember what it was like when I was turned, but try to keep your eyes on my nose, okay? So I can just, yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. And the other side again. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's very good. Thank you for keeping them open like this. I know how irritating this must have been. I'm sorry. So the last thing I have to check is your fangs. You've probably noticed them already, right? Don't worry. They will retract once you've calmed down a bit. And that's why you can't see mine, actually. You really don't have to walk around with those sharp and pointy things 24/7 and worry about humans or anyone else noticing them when you talk, okay? You will get the hang of controlling them in no time, I promise. Well, that is if you're willing to practice, of course. Anyway, give me a smile. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now just open your mouth a bit and I will just touch them really quickly, okay? Okay, yeah. All everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be at this point. And I know you probably have lots of questions. I have to check on my other patients now, but I will introduce you to some of the others and they'll answer all the questions you have and explain how things work around here and as a vampire in general, okay? But if you feel like you need a doctor, my door is always open and I'm here if you need me to look at something or if you just want to talk to someone, okay? You will be fine. I promise. Yes, come in. Hi. Come here. Let me look at you. This doesn't look good. I'm guessing a werewolf got you. Here. Here. And here. Oh. And he got you pretty bad. Any other injuries that aren't this obvious or that I didn't notice right away? Alright. Hold on. Let me just treat those cuts first and the wounds in your face so they stop bleeding. And to make sure you don't have a concussion, I'll assess the function of your cranial nerves afterwards, okay? Don't worry, that's only a few tests. You can go back out and keep fighting as soon as I'm absolutely certain you're fine. Patience. So take a breath. I'll just put on my gloves, grab some things, and then we can get started, okay? Okay. All right. What was that? No. I have no idea what caused the fights this time. It seems like there's a pattern to it. We fight for a few years. The leaders talk it out. A peace treaty is written and signed by everyone. Then it's all sunshine and rainbows for a while. And then some random newbie on either side does something that the opposite side thinks is violating the terms of the treaty. And we start all over again. It's exhausting. Okay. No, I really don't know how long this war has been going on. They were already fighting when I was turned. So at least 237 years ago. Okay. That's it for your wounds for now. I will check on those again once we're done with the rest of the tests. So, first of all, what is your name? And do you know where we are? And what's today's date? Alright. Are you experiencing anything unusual, like double vision, a headache, nausea, drowsiness, or sensitivity to noise? Okay, good. So I will start off by testing your olfactory nerve, so your sense of smell. Would you please cover your left nostril, and I will put this small bottle under your nose. And I'm asking you to please just tell me what it smells like, okay? Thank you, okay. Here we go. Got it? Or do you need to smell it again? Yes. I knew you would recognize the smell of werewolf sweat right away. Very good. Now just cover your right nostril, please. And I will hold another one of these bottles under your nose, okay? Would you just tell me what that smell is again? Great. Okay. Here you go. Yes. Perfect. That was the smell of human blood. Okay. Next up is your optic nerve, which means we will test your eyes. So let's start with this tiny Snellen chart, and I will point at the letters, and would you just tell me which one I'm pointing at? Yeah? Okay. Okay, good. So now I will use this light next to test the reactivity of your pupils. So let me just put my hand right here and shine into this eye first. Okay. Okay. All right. And the other one. Okay. All right. Great. So next I will be wiggling my fingers like this. And would you just tell me which finger was moving? Yeah. So focus on my nose. Okay. Okay. All right. And, okay. Yeah, that was both exactly. Okay. Great. So next up, could you just tell me when you can't see my fingers? I will be moving them. Okay, so eyes on my nose again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So next, please keep your head straight and just follow my finger with your eyes, okay? Okay. Thank you. So how are you feeling now? Any double vision, dizziness, or headaches? Very good. The trigeminal nerve is the next one I'm going to test. It's involved in your sensory supply to your face and also the motor supply to the muscles that help you chew, okay? So I will be using this and the end of this to lightly touch your face in some areas. So would you please close your eyes and just tell me if you felt it and which one I used, okay? All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. And I'm also going to test your corneal reflex on both sides with the cotton swab I just used. But don't be alarmed, it won't hurt. So keep your eyes open, please. Okay. Perfect. So next, please clench your teeth together. Okay. Okay, good. Now try to open your mouth while I'm lightly pushing against it. Yeah. Thank you. So could you just try to swallow for me? Okay. Very good. Now, would you just crease up your forehead for me? Okay, now close your eyes and keep them closed while I'll try to open them. Yep, good. Puff out your cheeks like this. Okay. And now give me a smile and show me those fangs. Alright. Well, it looks like you don't have a concussion, but please come back to see me if you start to experience any symptoms like dizziness, double vision, nausea, or headaches in the next 24 hours. Now let me just check if these wounds need any more care, and yeah, and you're good to go. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let me just apply some ointment to them and then you're good to go, okay? Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, let's say we're done here. Stay safe out there. Hi, I'm glad that you came to your checkup. It has been some time since we've seen each other. How have you been? And have you been able to get used to your life as a vampire? Yeah, it takes some time, but you still have a few centuries ahead of you. You know, it's good that you decided to join our clan. In the old days, a lone vampire got along just fine. And loners were not uncommon. While us vampires have always lived in clans and family groups, they were usually casual and functional. For the most part, vampires are more self-serving and don't like thinking about others and their feelings when making decisions. Yeah, vampire doctors may be an exception. However, since the conflict with the werewolves has escalated so much again in the last few months, it seems to make sense for most vampires to team up. Not entirely without a purpose or some kind of hidden agenda, of course. If werewolves get you alone, I will have to tend to your wounds sooner than either of us would like. Have you had the chance to meet the others of the clan? Okay, well, don't worry. I will introduce you to a few more people later. But first, let's see if you're still doing okay. And let's do a general checkup. Alright? Okay. So how are you doing? Is everything okay so far? Okay. Any discomfort or pain? Alright. Okay. Then let me first listen to your lungs. I think we can skip your heart this time. Yeah? take some deep, deep breaths in and out. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Then I'll just take a closer look at your face. Okay. Close your eyes tightly, please. Yeah. Okay, thank you. You can open them again. Does anything hurt up here? Okay. And here? What about here? Okay. And over here? Alright. Does this feel the same on both sides? What about here? Okay. And here? Okay. And here. Alright. And up here? Okay. Can you smile and show me your teeth, please? Yeah. Speaking of teeth, have you learned to control them yet? Yeah. It can be hard when you're excited or under pressure. That's true. But why don't you just show them to me? Yeah. Very good. Very good. Let me just touch the tips. Okay. Yeah. How's your jaw? Okay. Alright. And how is the chasing, biting, and drinking going? Still a bit bumpy? Okay, no problem. Just ask the other members of the clan, and I'm sure they will give you some tips and tricks to make it easier. Okay, please open your mouth and say ah. Yeah, just like you probably already know from the human doctor. Okay. Yeah. Very nice. And your hearing, eyes, and sense of smell are fine? Still very sensitive, but better than they were at the very beginning. That sounds good. You know, it takes a while to get used to it. Don't worry, it will definitely get better. Just give yourself some time to get used to it. It was like that for all of us. How long does it take? On average, I would say 9 to 12 months, but even a little longer is perfectly okay. So, if it hasn't changed by the end of the 12 months and it's still like that, feel free to come back. Okay? Then we will take another close look at everything. So I know your eyes are very sensitive, but I still need to shine a light into them for a minute, okay? Yeah? Let me know if it's too bright. Pick a spot behind me and keep your eyes on that, okay? Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, sure. You can ask questions. Yeah, the conflict between the werewolves and the vampires goes back to a time hardly anyone can remember. I know the stories only because I heard them from others. And werewolves and vampires were not always enemies. Originally, both actually came from kind of the same family. Both are creatures of the night and have special abilities. Both have been hunted by humans for centuries because they are different from them. And both have the ability to make humans one of their own. Just as it happened to you. Okay. When exactly and why the split into werewolves and vampires took place, no one really knows anymore. Okay? Look up, please. Probably evolution had something to do with that. In any case, both lived for a long time in peaceful coexistence. You can look straight again. Werewolves are rather, organized in packs. These are larger groups that have a flat hierarchy. With them, there's always an alpha and maybe a second in command. But otherwise, these groups are quite socially organized. Look to the right. Okay. The pack alpha sets the tone and must constantly stand up to challengers who want to outrank him. And contrary to most depictions by other vampires, werewolves seem to have a strong sense of honor. Look to the other side, please. Okay. They are quite modest and down to earth, but this is probably necessary for the pack structure to exist. Us vampires, on the other hand, are clearly, let's say, more political. As I already mentioned, most vampires are loners. Look down. Okay, and straight again. Among vampires, a mutual companionship is sometimes stronger and sometimes weaker. Thank you. Done with the light. Okay. Overall, it's more along the lines of what's in it for me. Within a family, the bonds are somewhat stronger. Or when a group is formed with a common goal. However, once the group has accomplished their goal or their purpose, they split up again. Vampires prefer life as the kind of lone wolf. Sort of ironic, isn't it? Can you just raise your shoulders? Okay, keep them like that. Before the fights between vampires and werewolves occurred, okay, you can relax them again. They lived together and formed small settlements. The werewolves are naturally stronger. Therefore, they usually took over the physical work, such as farming, work in the quarry, and woodcutting. Turn your head this way. Okay. Thank you. And the vampires were usually more skilled in planning and fine crafts, and this way. Okay. Close your eyes again. With large paws, it's just difficult to make jewelry or weave fine fabric. Everyone worked on their own crafts. This went on for a long time, but as it often happens, guilds formed and other groups joined together, and more werewolves and vampires kept to themselves. Okay. Yeah, just open your mouth, please. Okay. Over time, vampires became wealthier and were also more likely to be in some kind of elevated social position, money changers, goldsmiths, town councillors. Okay. While the werewolves performed rather low work, and they usually had to make sure that they survive. In the long run, this led to resentment among the werewolves, be it out of envy or because they felt treated unfairly by the vampires. Okay, close it. Keep it closed. In the end, it came as it kind of had to come. The werewolves planned an uprising, and from initial small battles, a solid fight broke out. Thank you. And this fight went on for several years. In the end, however, the werewolves were superior in numbers and in strength. Okay. The vampires were pushed into a corner, and their strategic and diplomatic skills helped them fight off the worst. And then a peace treaty was agreed upon. I'm just gonna look at some spots closely, in case you're wondering what I'm doing here. So instead of living together, they decided that they had to agree to live in separate territories. So that's what they did. And that's the werewolf packs and the vampire clans grew further and further apart. Okay. Is that okay? Alright. It was not an easy time for both parties. The vampires had to learn what hard physical work meant, and the werewolves struggled with planning tasks and all that. On both sides, not everything went smoothly, but eventually they came to terms with each other and lived their lives. Finally, it seemed like peace was respected. But anyone who studies history knows that peace never lasts long. So new generations came who had not experienced the old times, and arguments about territories began. Where exactly the border should run along, and sometimes the werewolves started the fight, sometimes the vampires. Each time there were many victims on both sides. And there's fighting going on until it's no longer possible. Then a peace treaty is negotiated until the new generations come who no longer know the horrors of the battles. And the game starts all over again. This conflict is almost as old as time itself. But apparently, nothing is learned from it. do this, please? Okay. You know, it almost seems as if there's a curse on both vampires and werewolves. We are like two magnets with repelling poles connected by a rubber band. So we are attracted and repelled by each other at the same time. So it goes back and forth until eternity. Okay. It seems like everything is fine with you. I'll next introduce you to some of our clan members. Okay? It was nice to have you here.